Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today we have something a bit special. The new marksman, as you can see right in front of me, is here. Pretty sure it's a marksman anyway. It was leaked by Karina, unfortunately. And she is called K-Sar, maybe? I'm not exactly sure how you would say this. That is the name, Daughter of the Void, right there. Let me know in the comments how you think you would actually say it. But Karina have published the webpage to her a little bit earlier than they were supposed to. I saw this on 4chan and I thought it was kind of a troll. I wasn't going to do a video on it. Then Garena released this. The videos are not available because, funnily enough, the champion isn't supposed to be revealed just yet. I'm guessing they were going to do it a little bit later today or maybe tomorrow, but here we go. So we can have a look at her abilities and what they're going to be doing. It does say down here that she's best when using her auto attacks properly, as you can see. So it looks like they've been talking about a new AD carry. It looks like it's going to follow on. This seems to be her stuff as well. And actually, 4chan, they labeled some of this. So this here down the bottom is her ultimate, this bottom screen right now. She can actually dash towards. We'll see in a second. These top left and the middle one is her Q. Her top in the middle is going to be a W. And then obviously she's standing there nice and proud on the other side as well. So let's get into her abilities and see what they're actually going to have. So, passive has two parts to it. And a lot of this as well, her kit is actually adaptive, whether you build her AD or AP, which is really weird because for a marksman, we're used to them having AD. But actually, if you build AP on this champion, you're still going to be benefiting from marksman stuff, but have it at the same time. Anyway, so basic attacks mark enemies with plasma. They deal increasing bonus magic damage. And after a few successive attacks after that, the plasma is going to burst for a bunch of damage. And it's based on the target's missing health. So if they're low health, it's going to do a little bit more. And nearby allies immobilizing effects adds stacks of plasma, so that is going to be anything like crowd control around them will add stacks of plasma as well, and in theory they could burst them a lot quicker. A living weapon, so this is the adaptive part of this actually. It adapts to her chosen attack style, evolving her abilities based on permanent stats gain, which means whether you're buying AD or AP from shop items and experience level. This is going to make a big difference as we get into it a little bit more, because her Q, for example, releases a swarm of missiles evenly distributed among nearby enemies, additional hits on the same target, doing slightly reduced damage, also adding plasma as well. But with enough AD, fires significantly more rockets at this. And this, if we go down, this is this spell here, top left and also in the middle. That is her Q. That's what it looks like. And as you can see, this one scales with AD. So if you're building AD and you have a lot of AD, like Infinity Edge, Bloodthirst or whatever, you're going to be firing a lot more missiles off. But if we move to a W, now with the bonus ability power, it's going to be having a different effect. So it fires off a beam of void energy, reveals the first enemy hit, deals some damage, and applies stacks of plasma at the same time. So you can combo this off for, I guess, with your W and your passive as well. The plasma stacks will do a bunch of damage together, right? But with enough bonus ability power, so if you build AP instead, it's going to deal more damage and partially refund the cooldown on champion hit. So, in theory, if you're building AP, you can use this as your main damage spell. I'm guessing using your Q as your main one when you're building AD. So, a little bit of different playstyle depending on what you're going to build. And again, as we go down, this is the top in the middle right now. The thing that's hitting Malzahar, that is going to be her W, the Void Beam there. So, finally then, well, not finally, we go into her E. She's going to charge up briefly, increasing her movement speed, but losing the ability to attack. So, kind of like a charge, but you're not able to attack there. After charging up, she whips out the big guns, which is a weird phrase to use in a riot thing, to increase her attack speed for a few seconds after that. And basic attacks are going to reduce the cooldown on this, but with enough bonus attack speed, so we've got an AD scaling, an AP, and an attack speed scaling so far, it's going to be briefly grant true invisibility while charging up. So basically, no control wards, nothing is going to be able to see you when you dive in with this. So she has a stealth when you have enough attack speed. This one is not shown in here. It'll be pretty difficult to show what that E actually looks like, I'm guessing. But, well, it could possibly be this. Someone said this is her ultimate on 4chan. It could possibly be that, but I don't think so because of the shield element, which we'll get to in our ultimate in a second. So, yeah, basically, building attack speed with AP or AD is going to give you invisibility, which seems pretty strange. So Nash's suit, for example, right, would be a pretty good thing to get on her apparently, because it gives you both at the same time. Finally, Killer Instinct. So she dashes at extremely high speed with long range as well to a location near an enemy champion marked with plasma, and briefly gains a damage absorbing shield. So that's why I said this is probably her ultimate, and this is what the 4chan thing says as well. Dashes forward, gets this shield here for Vel'Koz as well. Oh, my voice is starting to die, but So basically, she's going to be able to dash anybody with plasma. Remember, your W applies plasma. Your allies are going to apply it on the mobilizing effects as well, and your auto attack. So you can basically like dart towards somebody. You have, well, if we just recap her like entire kit right now, you build AD, it buffs your Q, right? You fire even more missiles out. Pretty ridiculous. Kind of looks like a Pharah thing from Overwatch, which is pretty crazy. But this is going to be doing a bunch of damage, a lot of damage. Then you have your W, which is a single line skill shot. That scales with AP as well, so if you want to build AP instead, you'll be doing more damage with that, and you can use it more often. Then your E is going to be a charged up dash, basically, which grants you invisibility when you have a load of attack speed. So late game, I'm guessing you're going to be doing loads of damage with your Q or your W, depending on whether you build AD or AP, and also having a stealth when you decide to charge forward, which is pretty crazy. We'll have to see as well, basic attacks reducing the cooldown. Obviously, when we get the actual numbers, we'll see how that works. But then we go for Ultima as well, dashing long range to somebody you've hit recently with your W, with your auto attacks, or one of your nearby allies has applied plasma for you with one of their mobilizing effects. So, for example, like an Amumu Ultima, a Braum Stun, I'd imagine those things are going to count at the same time. If we have a look, that's basically her abilities. The only other thing, because we don't get the videos, unfortunately, because this is not released, and I don't want to refresh the page, because Garena does this, and then they remove the page, like it didn't happen, so I'm not going to refresh it right now. If you're playing as her, we can read through some of this stuff, like track and tag isolated enemies with Void Seeker, which is going to be your W, right? Yeah, so with your W, you track them, you follow up with your ultimate afterwards, because you can hit them from range with your W, then obviously close the gap really quickly with your ultimate straight afterwards for a quick kill, apparently on the off chance they survive. Supercharger will keep you in range for a rapid fire takedown. So this will be this one, right? You're going to be increasing her movement speed, but you're not able to attack. But that means you could close the gap a bit more, and then obviously attack when that wears off, and giving you invisibility at the same time, which seems kind of ridiculous. She seems a lot like Vayne, honestly, with the dueling power and the outplay mechanics at the same time. And team fight, so let's have a look at this. Strike the blinding speed with your killer instinct, which would be your ultimate? Yep, your ultimate positioning the optimal angle to avoid pesky crowd control. So they're saying that you can use your ultimate to dodge crowd control and shot blocking front line. So basically, you could hit somebody with your W and then bypass the enemy tanks to dive in. Seems a little bit of a risky thing for an AD carry, but never know, maybe that's actually going to work. And then tips and tricks wise, watch for enemies wandering without backup. Wait, why would that make any sense? Keep an eye on allies already in combat. If they can immobilize and mark an enemy with plasma, you're able to jump in with your ultimate. So she seems a little bit like an assassin, honestly, and an AD carry at the same time, which is really weird because I don't understand how you're going to have those two things at the same time. But anyway, a living weapon, which is the adaptive part of your kit, remember, turns key item purchases into serious power spikes. So it is actually true. When you have loads of AD and you finish your Infinity Edge, we don't know exactly how much it's going to be, right? But when you finish your Infinity Edge, or when you finish your Bloodthirst, or whatever that AD is going to be, you're suddenly going to be able to do a ton more damage because your Q is going to evolve, basically, into this thing that does even more damage afterwards, right? But if you get AP, for example, your W is going to have like a reduced cooldown after that and deal even more. Your E is going to be... What does your E do? Let's have a... I'm getting so confused. With the invisibility, right? So when you get your AD, your AP, or your attack speed power spikes, your items, they're actually going to change how your kit works and make you just a lot stronger, even though it's not just the item, if that makes sense. So let's pick fights basically around your item purchases. They work best when you recall and roam. That is pretty grim, honestly, right? Telling you to do that. But that's actually true, right? Because if you pick up your item, you roam to a different lane, they don't realize how powerful you are because you've just got this massive spike with the item and also the evolution, I guess, of your ability at the same time. While the Cathian Rain can annihilate an enemy isolated enough, that is going to be your passive, I believe. No, that's not. That is your Q, sorry. Getting used to these names. So you have to take full damage from the missile. Her most murderous when she's making good use of her auto attacks at the same time, which is the thing that applies. She is going to be a marksman at the same time. Her passive means each one hits extra hard because of the missing health damage, if you remember that with the plasma. And the constant assault will drastically reduce the cooldown on Supercharger so you can keep repositioning. So it seems a little bit like from that. This is why it's really cool to read this stuff, because if they say that you can drastically reduce the cooldown on Supercharger, it seems a lot like Lucian. You know how if you are using your passive all the time and stuff, you can dash more and stuff. Is that still in the game? Pretty sure it's in the game. Illusion, you can dash all the time, for example, if you combo properly. It seems like it's the same thing here when you're diving in. So that would kind of make her a mix between Vayne and Lucian at the same time. And that's honestly pretty disgusting. I know some of this might seem a bit strange because obviously we've got kind of like a leak, I guess, on whether it's actually true. But there are two other things that I saw before this that I wasn't really going to do. You can see this is the imager link from 4chan of linking the stuff. And you can see this actually it is the same. We can have a look down here. This is the first base skin. And we also have the second one, which seems like a Super Galaxy version. I can click this, which is actually a really, really cool skin. So that lines up. And also, this is the leak that I wasn't really sure about, but it is actually exactly the same. You can read through this right now. Like, with enough bonus AD, the fire significantly more missiles. It seems, honestly, like somebody from Riot leaked this because the wording is exactly the same, or somebody's obviously seen the greener page even before I did, but it seems like this is actually like 100% legit right now, and this is going to be the new champion. I'm guessing the full version with the video is going to be out later today. But let me know what you think of the new marksman, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I will link this down below. I don't know if it's still going to be up when the video drops, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.